Well, welcome back on this Saturday morning, and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch, sponsored by Waddell's Nursery Floral Garden and Bird Center at the corner of Millam and 12th Street. And now here he is, the one, the only, your host of Nature Watch, the inimitable Gary Miller. Don't ask me to spell that, please.
At least you can pronounce it.
Well, you know, I'm telling you, I can pronounce it. Yeah, I can. So how you doing?
Good. So actually enjoying this little reprieve from the weather.
Yeah,
though
no kidding.
Mother Nature, I think, was going to say this weekend, but wait, there's more. And it's
Could
coming.
be. Yeah, it's coming.
I know earlier this morning I was watching Scott Larson's forecast and weather, and he actually put up the post or the little fact that the last 13 of the last 14 days have been above normal temperatures.
Wow.
And
That's nice.
We have more of it coming.
Is this El Nino related? Or?
No, so it actually there's
Climate
been some
change or
posts this
something?
last week. It looks like we were heading towards possibly a super El Nino.
Oh, boy.
Most of that's going to start hitting us, affecting. It looks like later, like mid-August and after.
Okay.
And into the winter. But right now, the area that they look out in the Pacific where they actually monitor that, the water temperatures are 1.2 degrees warmer than normal. That's Celsius degrees.
Oh, okay.
And they look at if it gets up to 2.5, that's where we're going to go into that super El Nino. And it's heading that way.
Okay.
So we'll
You're
see.
just full of good news this morning, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
time will tell. So last weekend, it came in the morning in the show, and I said I had just several drops in my rain gauge, and then Friday afternoon, evening, overnight, I got 1.9 inches.
Wow.
Saturday into Sunday morning, I had another 1.2 inches.
Ooh.
And then Sunday into Monday morning, had another 0.7. I had 3.8
Wow.
inches from Friday afternoon to Monday morning.
So what effect does that have on the drought?
Not a whole lot.
Really? Okay.
Not a whole lot.
You would think that much rain would really...
You would think. So Saturday night, we got together with some friends to watch some fireworks, and actually he's a farmer friend, and he was made the comment that that rain that he had Friday afternoon, evening, overnight was 2.2 inches. And actually the cornfield that we were sitting next to had been irrigated Wednesday, Thursday with between 1.5 and 2 inches. So it already had 4 inches in the last 4 days.
Wow.
3 or 4 days. There were no puddles out there. So that deep
tells you
soil
something,
was very
doesn't it?
dry,
Yeah.
sucked all that moisture down. And I noticed yesterday and Thursday, they were already irrigating again. I was off Wednesday, and I worked in my garden, so I had 3.8 inches of rain. I've got some clay in my soil, and typically that much rain, it's going to be a good week before I can get in my garden. You couldn't tell I had rain on Wednesday when I was in the garden.
That is just amazing.
Subsoil was so dry, it just sucked that moisture right down. And we're going to head that way because in the drought monitor, we've decreased our quality of soil moisture a little bit this week. We're up to 6.48% of the state now in a abnormally dry condition, which is that first drought condition. And it's expanded in the Upper Peninsula. It's all in the Upper Peninsula so far. So over along the Michigan-Wisconsin border, and then also it's expanded up all the way along that Superior Coast from that extreme northwest corner of the UP all the way up through the Keweenaw, including Isle Royale. And then over by the Tequamanon Falls area and Whitefish Point, that's all in that abnormally dry condition.
Wow.
So that's new this week.
Okay.
So and the only state that is currently drought condition free is Indiana. Ohio has a little bit now. So
Wow.
the way the forecast looks like we're going to head probably get drier and drier because there's a chance this next week on Thursday of some rain, a big whopping chance of 30%. I'm not going to bank on that.
No.
So it's warm coming, and actually we've got this big. The Michigan Storm Chasers called it this heat dome coming in. We have some temperatures probably on starting Monday through Thursday this next week that we may have heat indices up near 100.
Wow.
And upper 90s at least. So, and it's going to be hot again, and that humidity is going to go up a little bit. So it's actually pretty comfortable. It's going to actually get a little better today, and then that humidity is going to start going up again. Looks like later tomorrow and then into the week. Even though we're not getting rain, we're going to have that humidity in the air. Fun.
Oh yeah. Welcome to Michigan. Yes.
I think we've maybe recovered from that heat from a week and a half ago.
And then it's going to hit again.
My gosh, it just keeps coming and coming. I've noticed this last week, actually last couple of weeks, the butterfly weed is blooming profusely this year. And you really see them all over. Those are those orange flowers you see when you're driving down the road and on the roadside. And they're usually in those drier areas. They like that dry. They're in the milkweed family. And they actually can be a host for monarch butterfly larvae.
Oh, very nice.
But they don't like being moved or actually planted at all. So if you want to plant some of those, you need to buy plants, because if you try to relocate one from the wild, it most likely will die. Mm-hmm. And they don't transplant very easily unless they've been pot grown, and then you can plant them in the ground. And they're very long lived. They gradually expand their size in their little area, but very, very slowly. But they always bloom about this time of year, which is nice because they're a bloom sort of in between those late spring, early summer blooms and some of the later summer blooms for the butterflies and the bees and that. And so it's nice to see those blooming. Some color out there besides where some of the grass is starting to go brown again.
Yeah, thank you. That's always nice.
So this last week on Tuesday, I had a little fun bird adventures. Just pulled out of my driveway going down the road, and a wild turkey ran out in the road and decided to run the same direction I was traveling. Luckily, I wasn't going very fast, and so I slowed down even more, and waiting to see if the turkey was going to dart left or right, and it ended up going right into the field. So it was safe. And then about two miles further down the road, I wasn't going very fast again. Luckily, a red-headed woodpecker landed in the road to get some gravel or something, and then flew away.
Huh.
So which was actually fun to see, because red-headed woodpeckers, you don't see those very often. And actually been seeing quite a few of them this year, so maybe their population is coming back around. Be nice to see. And actually this last week, talking about birds, I always check the rare bird alert through Michigan, around Michigan and that, and they've actually had some really rare birds sighted here in southwest Michigan. Over in Berrien County, they had some confirmed sightings of piping plovers. And they've got some piping plover nests. I noticed one of the websites that really encourage about piping plover restoration, trying to get their species back up in more numerous numbers. Best nesting year they've had in quite a long time. So got a lot of pairs nesting all over the Midwest. And they also saw over in Berrien County was pretty. I think a lot of people out watching for birds last weekend and over the 4th July weekend. They saw laughing gulls, worm-eating warblers. I always laugh about that one because I think most warblers eat worms, but this one specifically got named that way. Blue grosbeak, and we've seen a lot of blue grosbeak sightings pretty consistently. That's a bird that typically is from the Ohio River south, so I think they've moved north. Those were confirmed sightings in Berrien and Calhoun County. Forster's tern in Kalamazoo, and then the American avocet was confirmed by numerous folks over in Fort Custer. And American avocet is something that nests way out west and south. So it's very much out of its range, though sometimes they can migrate through here. But they also, I was reading about it on the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and the looks like that their range is starting to expand somewhat because they're starting to see more and more sightings of that.
Apparently they are, because they're here.
Yeah. So interesting to see those different birds in that. Got a couple of holidays coming up this next week, which I thought was so fun.
Do tell. What are they?
On Monday is National Rock Day. No, it's not the music rock.
Is this any kind of rock? Is it inclusive igneous and sedimentary and metamorphic? And it's
all of them.
All right.
So basically, it's a chance to go out and explore that inner geologist that you have, and look at all the rocks. Just a fun day to be aware of all the different types of rocks around. And in Michigan, we have all types of rocks because the glaciers deposited all sorts of things here that they picked up elsewhere. And so that's always fun if you have a chance to get somewhere where you can see a lot of different rocks. Gravel pit or so, make sure you have permission. And those are always fun to see because you see all sorts of different rock. And then on Tuesday is National Be Nice to Bugs Day.
Okay, all right. I'm going to have a limit there, Gary, okay? I mean, certain bugs I'm good with. Mosquitoes are dead meat, okay?
Well, yeah, so and actually the deer flies have been very prolific here recently.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we've been on that drier side with that heat, and it's not fun. I have to cross the Portage River on the road when I go home every night, and there's always this cloud of deer flies around my vehicle. I have to sit in my truck for a little bit waiting for the deer flies to disperse. I usually hope that the barn swallows will take them away, and I think they say they tend to fly away after a while because seeing all the barn swallows around. But I saw, otherwise I get attacked if I go out of the truck.
Yeah, you don't want to get out if they're there.
And those things hurt because they actually
they do. They bite, don't they?
They chew a hole in your skin.
Yeah, they bite.
And the even worse are the horse flies, which are a lot bigger, just a bigger version of the deer flies. And we've seen a few horse flies around. They chew a bigger hole in your arm, then it itches very, very much so. So, World Snake Day coming up next Thursday.
Do you have a favorite snake?
Probably the garter snake because it's a pretty common snake.
Okay,
they're actually nice and docile. And we usually see a couple of garter snakes around the yard sometime in the year. It's always usually that sort of medium sized. Every once in a while, I see one of those bigger ones that are approaching that 2.5 foot long or so. One of those probably grandparent snakes or so. It's always fun to see those. It startles you when you see them all, but it's like I've usually several times I've seen them mowing in the yard, and so I always make sure I had a little fellow that was about 8-10 inches long several weeks ago when I was mowing, and he was crossing from one landscape bed to the next, and I made sure I kept tabs of where he was at so I didn't hit him with the mower.
There you go.
So,
Michigan's lucky. We're one of the few states that we only have one venomous snake here, and you almost have to jump up and down on top of it to make it mad.
And if you jump up and down on top of it,
it's going to bite you.
Typically you might sink into the ground.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
true.
usually
In the swampy area,
area.
and that's the Masaga. And having been in states before where there's like more poisonous snakes than people, Georgia, for instance, it's nice to only have one.
So there's a little more than 3,500 snake species in the world.
Wow.
There's only 6 places in the world with snake species in the world.
Wow.
There's only 6 places in the world with Ireland, Ireland, and New Zealand. So those island countries. Yeah. Approximately 70% of snakes lay eggs. Mm-hmm. And then some of the others have live birth. Depending on the species, a snake skeleton has 600 to 1,800 bones.
Wow.
But you think of all those ribs and vertebrae going down through the snake. Biggest snake is the reticulated python, which can reach over 30 feet in length. Little squeezing there. And smallest snake is the thread snake, which is less than 4 inches long.
Wow.
So quite a big.
So that reticulated python, don't they find those in Florida periodically?
They have sometimes a few of those. Or some of there's several pythons that they find.
I know that they go out and hunt them.
They're not. Yeah,
they're not native.
They're not native.
Somebody to let one loose.
There's about 70 species of sea snakes that live in the water, mostly in the Indian and Pacific Ocean.
And they're all poisonous, aren't they?
Yes, they are. There's around 600. So out of that 3,500 plus species, about 600 are venomous. But only of those, only about 200 are dangerous to humans. And snakes have no teeth, so they typically swallow their prey whole. And they're able to eat animals 3 times the size of the width of their head.
Wow. By
unhinging their lower jaw from their upper jaw. And so even the garter snakes, and if you find a frog or so, they can eat a pretty good sized frog or mouse or so if they catch those. So neat holidays, go out and
ask for it off and
make sure you
go
have
and
some
celebrate.
habitat for the snakes.
Yeah, go out and ask for it off. What the heck? Let's have some fun. My favorite, I'm not going to say favorite snake, but we went to the Cincinnati Zoo a few years ago, and the only reason I really wanted to go was to go to the reptile building because they had cobras.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to see, the cobras up close and, other than the glass. Fortunately for me, one of them was ticked off and kept striking the glass and looking for a way out. And I'm like, he can't get out.
Hope that glass holds.
He can't get out, can he? No. Now that's a good thing because.
So we probably should do a little trivia question.
Okay,
here.
let's.
People. Ran across a little news item this last week. And I thought, well, this is appropriate because it's here in Southwest Michigan, and it involves a federally endangered species. And so my question is what federally endangered species was recently released in Southwest Michigan, and just in the last week and a half? And then a little bonus point if you want to give yourself a pat in the back. Where was it released?
Oh, there we go.
And so there was more than one of this species. A little hint there.
Okay.
And it was actually a cooperative effort with several agencies. So again, what federally endangered species was recently released in Southwest Michigan?
All right.
And
so for your wonderful prize, which is
a $20 gift certificate from Wedel's.
Very cool.
So if you have the correct answer, so you can call in at 382-4280.
Yes.
That's 269 area code.
Talk.
And please call in. Later on, you can text in questions to 80373.
Yes, indeed.
Or comments if you something you've observed.
There you go.
So,
all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, see if we can get a winner in our trivia contest. We'll be right back with Nature Watch here on WKZO.
Would you like to add a little more color to your life? Wedel's Nursery Florist and Garden Center has a great selection of perennial plants that will color up your outdoor living area year after year. This week, choose from Wedel's entire selection of more than 400 perennials. Buy 4, get 1 free. Many perennial plants will attract pollinators to your landscape like lavender, bee balm, salvia, and coneflowers. Wedel's has over 30 varieties and sizes of hostas in stock. Or for some contrasting red foliage and shady spots, get coral bells. Hummingbirds love them. Looking for something to bloom in an area that doesn't get much water? Try catmint with loads of purple flowers for most of the summer. Several types of daisies are available, including white blooming, yellow blooming, short and tall. Enjoy more color in your life and landscape with perennials from Wedel's Nursery Florist and Garden Center. And now through next Wednesday, they're all buy 4, get 1 free. Located on Texas Drive at the corner of Millam and 12th Street.
Kalamazoo's news and newsmakers, too.
Local news is like the most important stuff to me.
Kalamazoo Mornings with Ken Landfear.
Your local community.
On WKZO.
All right, back to Nature Watch. We're in the midst of our trivia question, which is what federally endangered species was reintroduced into
an area in
Southwest Michigan, and we have Jeff on the line. Jeff, good morning. You know the answer?
Good morning, Jim. You guys, how you guys doing?
We're doing
Good.
all right, man.
Hey, all right. Hey, I think it's a butterfly, but I don't remember which one right now.
So you're right with the butterfly, and because we're later in the show, I'll be nice, and it's going to be not hot this next week.
Oh, there we
I'll
go.
give that to you.
All right. Well,
so it's actually one that you don't see very often, but it is native here. It was the Mitchell's satyr butterfly, and there were about 300 of them that were released in a restored prairie fen at Fort Custer Training Center in Augusta. And
nice.
The Mitchell's satyr, they're actually federally endangered. They used to live around Fort Custer, and with all the activity and the changes in some of the vegetation and that, so they've been trying to restore these. It was a cooperative effort with the Kalamazoo Nature Center, John Ball Zoo, so they actually the Michigan National Guard was participating.
Oh,
they
wow.
actually help release. So they have some neat photos on
Very
the
cool.
Facebook page on Kalamazoo Nature Center's Facebook page. So
your knowledge of butterflies has served you well, Jeff. It has. So hang on. Don't hang up. I'm going to put you on hold, send you back to our producer, Steve. He'll get your information. And, well, congratulations again, man. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. All right.
Yep.
Oops, sorry about that. I'm too fast, Jeff. I'm sorry. He was saying have a nice day, I believe. So,
thank you, Jeff. You too.
Yeah. So, all right, when they release something like that, Gary, they have to make sure that the conditions are optimal.
Right. So they restored this prairie fence, so it's got all the native plants for the Mitchell satyr. And if I remember correctly, they actually feed on lupins, the native lupins. And
okay.
I know several years ago I was at the Kellogg Bird Sanctuary, and actually there was an expert, was now a professor at Michigan State, but actually had been down in the Carolinas and on butterflies and endangered butterflies, and so he had a neat presentation about some of the different species of butterfly and moth that are very endangered or threatened, and had a neat presentation on that and some of the different habitats. And then we actually took a neat hike out around the bird sanctuary and out in some of the prairie areas. And
Oh, wow.
See what kind of butterflies and plant host plants we could find. So
Yeah.
that was actually fun.
What kind of effect does this hot weather have on butterflies?
A lot. So animals and plants need water just like we do.
Yeah.
Plants, sort of obvious with plants, but animals are the same thing. In this heat, when it gets so hot, even the animals that like the heat a lot, their activity slows down considerably. And so it's always important to make sure you've got water out there, especially for the birds, but all other critters need water too. And having those areas for butterflies, so like a rock and a little shallow, make it much shallower in a bird bath, or have a special, bird bath where you have a rock in there just specifically for butterflies, and so you just have just a little bit of water in there. Dragonflies will come in and get water too. Dragonflies are fun to have around because they eat mosquitoes.
Yes, they do.
I always enjoy watching the different dragonflies. It's always fun to see all the different colors and dragonflies and damselflies. And it's always fun when you got that large dragonfly that decides to hover right in front of your face, looking at you, and you're looking at them eye to eye.
Yes.
You always wonder what they're thinking.
How do I get around this guy? I don't know what's going on.
I always say hello to him. It's like, it's nice to see him. So that's make sure you get water out there, because that's really important for those animals and that. A couple of neat things coming up here. Kalamazoo Nature Center has got that Night Magic talk this afternoon, and then a hike tonight, but the hike is sold out. So if you didn't sign up and register, you're out of luck.
Out of luck.
But you can go out to the Nature Center and do the public observing session with the Kalamazoo Astronomy Club.
Very cool. Yeah, and it's going to be a good night to do it.
That's at 9:30, and it looks like the sky's going to be perfectly clear tonight,
yeah.
and we've got new moon coming up next week, so not a whole lot of moonlight. And so it should be really good weather. Dress for the weather. It's going to be warm, and I'm going to guess it's going to be warm enough the mosquitoes are going to be hovering around, so you might want to have a little bit of that repellent on you.
Bring your repellent with you, yes.
So that's neat. And then tomorrow they've got that soil life exploration at the Delano Farm at the Nature Center. They've got a couple of neat things coming up next week. They've got across Michigan and Mexico, they've got actually a little talk about growing crickets for food. And that's at noon to 1.
Have you ever had
That's
cricket?
Included in your admission. I have had cricket.
Actually, I have too.
I've had cricket cookies. I've had grasshopper cookies. I've had some foods made with some earthworms.
Haven't done that.
The grasshoppers were interesting, and the crickets were interesting because occasionally, because they were not dried and ground, or they were dried but they weren't ground up enough, get a leg stuck in your teeth is not fun.
Yeah, well,
but they're good protein. There's a lot of areas in the world that they eat insects,
yes, they
insect
do.
larvae for protein, and they're high in protein. And we're going to see probably more and more of that as the future comes around, because just to have more protein sources. So that's actually pretty interesting. From noon to 1, going to have Montserrat Rosales Osorio from the Green Leap Cricket Farm talking about growing crickets. And she's got ties down to Mexico, where her family originally was from, with growing crickets and for food and that. And then later in the afternoon, they're going to do a little hike around Bugs Beneath the Water. So that's from 2 to 3:30.
Very cool.
If you want to get in the little streams there, they're going to explore all the different invertebrates that are in the water there. Wear some boots. And that
would be a good idea.
So that's for all. So the Green Cricket Farm talk is for adults, but the Bugs Beneath the Water is for all ages. And then on Sunday, they're doing a guided butterfly hike, again, for all ages.
Oh, wow.
And that's included with the you can actually sign up for register for that ahead of time, because they have a limitation on activity on that. It's for all ages, but if you have individuals under 14, they need to be accompanied by an adult.
Okay.
And then this next week, Southwest Michigan Land Conservancy has some neat volunteer activities. They've got a butterfly hike coming up on Thursday at Chipman Preserve, and then on Saturday, they've got a mini BioBlitz, bees, butterflies, and other bugs at Chipman Preserve.
Cool.
Both of those you need to register ahead of time. There's a limitation on number of folks, and they were still open registration-wise last night when I checked.
Okay. And where do you go to register?
And then Kalamazoo Area Wild Ones this next week has pints and native plants again on Thursday at Brewery Outre. Pierce Cedar Creek Institute has some neat volunteer activities.
Very cool.
So some neat things if you have a chance to get out and volunteer. If you do volunteer, make sure you register ahead of time. They like to make sure they know how many folks are coming, and then make sure you take water and dress appropriately.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to take some tools, or they provide tools. So.
All right. Make sure you celebrate National Rock and National Be Nice to Bugs and National Snake Day this week.
Yes.
You want to do this again next week?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh.
Gary Miller, thank you as always. You are just a fountain of
It's always
information.
fun.
I always learn something when I'm here.
So do I.
Yeah. And thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. for Nature Watch, brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral and Garden and Bird Center at the corner of Milam and 12th Street. Coming up next, national news, local news. Take a look at the weather forecast, and then Over the Garden Fence on 590 and 106.9 FM. WKZO, where we've got sunshine, a little bit humid out there, and it's 70 degrees, looking for a high of 86. Next chance of precipitation probably Thursday into Friday.